It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Scent Blocker,
Killer Food Plots,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Antler Action,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
and Badass Slingshots.
Welcome back, everybody. Another episode of the Up North Journal. I'm your host, Mike Adams, sitting in the cabin tonight with a little warm weather with Danny Defoe.
A little warm weather, mid-60s.
Yeah,
It's February.
I know it. What's up with that?
Man, what a warm weekend.
This has been a crazy week, week to come, actually.
I survived the week. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you were on death's door.
Man, I started going downhill after last week's show, and
You went downhill quick.
I hit rock bottom by Wednesday, and I was out of work all week.
I am so glad that whatever you had, you didn't leave here in the cabin.
I cried uncle and actually went to the doctor.
Yeah?
That's pretty big for me.
Well,
by Wednesday night, I said, okay, I had enough of this.
had enough.
But I had the flu officially.
Okay.
Influenza B.
Well, I'm glad you're back with us.
Yeah,
Glad everything's
that was
good.
Tough, but
then you passed it on to your lovely wife, and now she's suffering.
you're right, Kevin. It's bow fishing weather.
Exactly.
Man, strange week. Now the last 2 days, it's been 60 degrees out. No snow whatsoever.
I know it. It's wild to think that what's the date today? The 18th? 19th. It's the 19th of February. We still have officially, 9 more days to go.
In February.
And over a week, and it was in the mid-60s here. There's no snow on the ground.
Exactly, and it's supposed to be this warm all week. Mm-hmm. For the next week, we're going to have this warm. So
50-degree weather.
Kiss the ice goodbye.
There's no ice. Actually, yesterday, I heard some kids here locally put a quad on the ice and went through. Don't know any of the story. Don't know if they made it out. Don't know none of that. But pretty crazy. So, but anybody that's out there that's on our Facebook page right now watching the live stream, make sure if there's anything you want to chime in with, feel free to. Danny's monitoring the live feed here, so we'll try to answer some stuff as we go along. So
and matter of fact, I think it was Friday. Friday? It must have been Friday.
Yeah.
They had two separate incidents of teenagers. One was walking a dog out on the ice, and the other one was, I think they were just out on the ice.
Right.
But they had to go and get saved. So,
here's just a little bit advice: stay off the ice. There is no ice.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, all right. I'm getting texts from my wife about the dogs barking. So if you guys hear a dog barking in the background, it's my dog.
Yeah.
But so we went to the show this weekend.
We did.
What did you think overall?
Deer and Turkey, a Deer in the Field and Stream Deer and Turkey Spectacular 2017. I was a little surprised.
Good or bad surprise or indifferent?
I thought the show was good. Could it have been better? Yes. I was surprised at actually it being smaller than it was the previous year.
Mm-hmm. Had a few less vendors.
Yes. You could tell. Mm-hmm. They had some great vendors. But, it was just interesting dynamic, and the foot traffic that we had coming through wasn't I don't know. I guess the show over the years is just going down.
Either that or what I'm hoping was the weather had a lot to do with it. You going to make it there, bud?
Yeah, I'm going to make it.
Okay. But the weather, I think the weather had a lot to do with it. As far as people getting out, they were outside. They didn't want to go inside to a show. They're going to enjoy a weekend of 60-degree weather in Michigan in February.
And speaking of 60-degree weather, Jason Radecki was playing in a bowling tournament up in Houghton Lake, and there are still vehicles out on the ice in Houghton Lake.
Okay. Well, Houghton Lake gets pretty thick pretty quick.
You know it's above 24 inches of ice.
Right. That lake tends to thicken up pretty quick and stay thick.
Oh, and Jason, do you also like the you've seen the killer food plots?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
We got more to say here about that here in just a few minutes.
Right. So, but this used to be one of the premier shows for the show season.
For Michigan, mid-Michigan. Yeah.
Like we talked about, there used to be 3 shows, one on each side of the state and in the middle.
Right.
This was the in the middle that was supposed to be the show. The west side one is the Hunting Time Expo.
Yep.
Then you got the mid one, which is this one, and then in September you have the East Side show, Woods and Water.
Right.
But this show was just it was, I don't know, it's hard to say, put the finger on it. Why? I heard a bunch of different reasons.
Yeah, everybody has a theory.
Right, exactly. You know, warm weather. It was a bad weekend because of the NWTF going on. But
that's in Nashville. I don't think that had a lot to do with it.
I don't think so either. The more you look at overall you look at it, it's just I don't know. It's going downhill. But maybe not. Maybe they'll do something to. It was complained when the venue left downtown.
Yeah, when it went out of town,
and they all complained.
And it came back,
but it was packed when it was out of town.
Yeah.
Now that it came back, nobody came back.
Yeah, I don't understand what the issue is. What's causing it?
Talking to Jerry Lambert today, he said on Saturday mornings they used to get there at 9 o'clock in the morning, and they'd get tired of being shoulder to shoulder when there was so many people there.
I remember that. I remember those days.
Right, and now he goes, look.
Do you think shows in general are changing? I mean, we talked to a few people who were at Harrisburg, and they said it's a great show. They had a great time there. A little bit long, being 9 days, but they had a genuinely good time there and got to meet people who they needed to meet.
You know what?
Or do you think shows are starting to change? You think people are getting tired of the shows, maybe?
It could be that, because really, truthfully, from the second week of January, you could play a show a week and just bounce around the entire area.
Well, last weekend I
was in Birch Run.
Yeah, at the Expo.
It's almost like everybody wants a piece of that pie for their venue.
Right.
So they try to make a show, but all it does is slice up the pie more and more.
Yeah, only so many people are going to go to a hunting show.
Right, exactly. And, but you talk to some people, that last week's show they did really good at. Mm-hmm. So the Harrisburg show, I think, is unique. I think that's just unique in size.
It covers 2 weekends, 9 days long.
9 days long, 2 weekends, and everything's segmented, right? Mm-hmm. If you want to go guns, ammos, and rifles over here, archery over here, outfitters. Kind of like the Hunt and Time Expo. The one main area is outfitters. Then you got the vendors off in the back. And I think that was still a pretty... I'll have to talk to Dave to get his overall opinion of the whole weekend. I just seen him there the one day. Mm-hmm. But, it's kind of hard to say.
Well, then we got the things coming up at Cabela's. We got the shows that are coming to... I mean, they're not traditionally shows. They're more like events. Events at Cabela's. Then we got our... the turkey seminars are coming up for our local chapter in WTF. You got the SCI show and banquet coming up. Then you got all these other banquets are coming. This time of year, I mean, there is a lot to do with outdoor gatherings. And I'm just wondering, maybe, is it getting to a point where maybe we've just got too many?
It could be. Absolutely. Whatever, why not? Like I said, everybody wants to have their show at their venue.
Right.
But in reality, when you could if you could have three shows, one on the west side, one in the middle, and one on the east,
right,
and build up for that big show. But then,
right,
if it's not at your venue, you're going to say, well, I want a piece of that.
Right. Absolutely.
So, it's just one of those things. I wish there would have been a lot more people. We had a great time. Got
to see a lot of great people there. Working the PSC booth. The thing I noticed this weekend, especially with there at the shooting booth, was the people coming in to shoot bows seemed to start trending more. You okay there?
Yeah, man.
Okay, just checking on you, making sure you're all right. We're trending towards females and younger females. Because most, I'd say between women and men, it was probably 60% men, 40% women. And probably a third of the women that were there were young, teenage girls. So I think we're seeing a trend. And
that's a good thing, because we talked about this. Matter of fact, talking with the QDMA gentleman this week about the hunter numbers going down.
Right.
So that's a good trend to see in the archery. But there's a lot of target lady archers out there, though, too.
That's true.
And seeing more and more. It's because everybody can do it,
right,
which is kind of nice. And, it depends on how much money you want to spend in it. You can go little or a lot. But I think it's good to see that. Just getting people out in general. It's just seeing the younger crowd out there as well.
Absolutely. It's good to see. Hopefully we'll start to see things turn around the other way. So.
Yep.
Are you sure you're okay?
I'm all right.
Okay. All right. So Dan's going to have the sniffles and coughs for this show.
Yes, I am.
So we'll just have to tolerate that.
You will.
But you know what? We're bumping up here close to our first break. We're going to do something a little different here, especially for the live stream people. We're going to throw it to a break here. But before we do, the next segment is actually going to be with Nick Percy of Killer Food Plots. And we talked with Nick at the show this week, and we're going to talk frost seeding. So for those of you on the live stream that want to listen to this part, you're actually going to have to tune into the podcast because it was pre-recorded, and we don't have the ability to actually play that for you here tonight. So
Right.
For those of you
did.
we did, but it's not working tonight. So for those of you listening on the regular podcast right now, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, you're going to hear Nick Percy talking about frost seeding those food plots, getting ready for this spring. We'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Throughout human history, one notorious killer has remained at the top and claimed more lives than any war or natural disaster combined. Mosquitoes. It's time to arm yourself and protect your family this season with Scent Blocker's new Bug Blocker for insects. Lasting up to 8 hours, Bug Blocker not only repels biting mosquitoes that can carry the West Nile virus, but other biting insects, including chiggers, biting flies, gnats, and ticks which can carry Lyme disease. Field tested by outfitters and guides from Alaska to Alabama and everywhere in between. The results are in, and Bug Blocker flat out works. In a high-potency sportsman strength dosage, using 25% no-nonsense DEET, plus 2 specific ingredients to target biting flies, Bug Blocker plays for keeps. For ultimate protection, pair Bug Blocker insects with Bug Blocker ticks.
Welcome, everybody, back to another segment Up North Journal, and we're coming to you live from the 2017 Deer and Turkey Spectacular here in Lansing, Michigan. And we are here live in the Killer Food Plots booth with none other than Nick Percy. Hey, Nick, how's it going?
Great. How you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic.
Excellent.
You know, we're here in February, and we talked before a little bit, but we're starting to think about food plots. But what should we start to think about now?
Well, we are approaching. We've got a little bit of a warm up here, which is getting us thinking frost seeding.
Absolutely.
Frost seeding will be usually in April, late April, mid to late April, depending on how Mother Nature is cooperating. Hopefully, this isn't the drought of 4 years ago that we're about ready to encroach on. But
I think this is just a little taste.
Getting a little warm up to spring, but yeah, usually mid to late April, you're going to want to get out there and get your stuff frost seeded.
Okay, so frost seeding. Take us through it.
So frost seeding is the spreading of clovers, chickories, alfalfas. Those are the 3 varieties that we offer where you can frost seed those ahead of the complete thaw or completion of a little bit of snow, rain aspect.
Okay.
So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the seed out there during that fluctuation in the weather patterns, and you're allowing Mother Nature, between rain, some snowfall, some up and down heaving of the frost coming out of the ground, to essentially establish that perennial food plot early ahead of the grass and the weeds.
You're letting Mother Nature do the work for you.
Exactly.
You know, and that's one of the things that, you know, you do a lot of work here, but there's some things you can do and let Mother Nature do it, and frost seeding is one of them.
Yep, it is. Now, what you want to do is you want to try to do frost seeding. We generally suggest that you do that in areas that you've previously planted, maybe with a late season brassica blend, like our carnage brassicas or our deep woods. Those big leafy greens tend to cover the ground. You don't have a lot of weed and grass infiltration in the late part of the fall, and your food plot is clean, like a clean slate to start your frost seeding. If you don't have that situation, you can still go ahead and frost seed into those areas. This is great for folks that don't have equipment or have the right equipment to turn. It's a really good option to try to beat the grass and weeds. And then with a little simple sprayer, they can go ahead and address the grass and weeds in the plot a little bit later.
Oh, okay. So this is basically blank slating it for the new year.
Yes, exactly.
And by frost seeding it, like you said, you're letting Mother Nature use them. We do this in the next couple of weeks because we know what's going to happen in April. And now, is there anything else we should look forward to? Or speaking of that, you mentioned getting your soil tested.
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's very important.
Okay, so do you offer that, or local extension service, or because let's say here I am, I just bought a new acreage, and that should be my first step, right?
Yeah, soil testing is the most important step, because a soil test is, think about it as your blueprint for your seed bed of your food plot, and that will tell you exactly where your soil is at that point. And then what we can do with that soil test, we do offer soil testing. To answer your question, it's $20 per food plot location or per soil submission. And then what we do is we will make all the right recommendations based on the forage that you're going to put, the seed that you want to plant there. We'll be able to tell you how much lime you need, how much potash, how much magnesium, whatever is deficient in the food plot, we can tell you what to add. And normally it's not terribly expensive to fix your soil. It's terribly expensive when you don't soil test and you fail.
Right, exactly.
Or you get a lot less forage.
There's nothing worse than going out, spending a whole bunch of money, and all of a sudden you get nothing but fail.
Yes, exactly. And and a lot of people do that. They think, man, it's $20. Skip one case of beer and buy a soil test, and you'll be a lot happier shooting a bigger deer later in the year for your $20 than just winging it and hoping for the best.
You are not kidding. So basically, people, what we're trying to say is now is the time that you can use Mother Nature on your side to do a little frost seeding. Make sure, though, first and foremost, get soil tested. How you get that soil, Nick will help you out. Just go to killerfoodplots.com.
Yep, then go killerfoodplots.com, or they can email me at nick@killerfoodplots.com, either way, and they can ask questions. They can go on Facebook or Instagram, so they can message us through Facebook, ask questions there. And there's some really good resources on Facebook as far as previous customers, their successes, what works for them. Come on over, join the KFP family, and we'll help you get some success.
There you go. And along with the website, you're going to have YouTube videos out there down the road here to help people that they can click on in and check it out and how to do it?
Yeah, we'll probably post them and link them into our YouTube webpage, but they'll also be on our Facebook or on our actual new website. We're going to try to get those videos entered right in there. When you click on the product, we're going to embed those videos into the new website. Hopefully that'll be out here in the next few weeks. We're a little behind the 8 ball on it, but we're getting her done. So.
Yeah, that's right. So stay tuned for more from Killer Food Plots in their new website. But we talked about seeds and everything, but that's not the newest thing here at Killer Food Plots.
No, we've got some great new products.
You've got this product here that comes in a canister.
Yep, this new product is called Sufuze. We've been experimenting and getting it refined for about the last 3 years. We're very proud of a couple different factors with this product. The dispersion of this product with the sprayer that we have. We're so used to that little tiny sprayer where we get our finger and we're like, eat, 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 and it kind of squirts out a little bit at us. This sprayer that we have is able to atomize the cover scent attractant that's in it into a fine mist, and it continually sprays for 2.5 seconds each time you pull the trigger. You can stop it immediately by releasing, but it also has a bladder inside of the bottle so that it doesn't freeze when you're out there in the woods. How many times has your cover scent attractant frozen?
And you can see that if you look through the bottom of the bottle, you can see the rubber bladder in there.
Yep.
And you know what, people? If you take a look at this on the website and you see it, it's not your typical looking bottle, the squirt bottle.
Right.
It's a one pump deal, and it comes in several different attractions.
Yeah, several different scents. We have, for just our attractants for whitetail, we have our RIP, which is our fresh bedding that can be used all season long. We spray that in areas where we have licking branches, where we know we have bedding or we create bedding areas. We use it as an attractant to kind of create a trail. This is part of our RAD system, which creates a reaction, an attraction, and then the D for distraction. So you get this scent into the deer's nose. The product is called Sufuze. Okay, Suffuze. Now, Sufuze, what that means is it means a liquid that takes over or overwhelms, and that's exactly what it does. It's a natural-based, food-grade scent. So our sweet corn literally smells like you cracked open a can of sweet corn, actual cream corn. Our Red Hot 24 is another one of our attractants. That attractant has hot dough pea in it, and all of our products as a whole, we're giving 20% more product than the average cover center attractant. Normally they're in 8-ounce bottles. We give 10. We have the bladder. We have the better dispersion. This product lasts a lot longer. It doesn't freeze up. It doesn't cause issues. And the sprayer is also refillable. We're going to have refillable canisters. And for those people who travel and they fly to their different destinations to hunt, we're looking at, right now we don't have it, but we're working towards finding concentrated bottles where you can take an empty sprayer, you can bring the concentration, and we'll have the mixing ratio. Once you get to your destination, you dump it in the bottle, add the right amount of water, fill it up, shake it up, you're ready to go wherever it is you're hunting.
And I tell you what, that is invaluable, because how many times, I want to take this with me, but you can't take liquids on the plane, right?
Right, yep, exactly. So you don't have to leave your added benefits, and it's not baiting, it's none of those things that go against some of those areas where we can't bait or we can't do food plot or whatever, or feed pellets or whatever. The liquid is a good solution for that.
And you just don't have this for deer either.
No, we also have 2 scents for bear. We have our muscadine grape, and we have our blueberry, and those two are excellent. Again, there's several states where you can bear hunt, but you're not allowed to bait, and that is a very, very strong concentrated blueberry smell, as well as the muscadine grape, and they're food grade, so you can spray them on any type of vegetation, and the bears are drawn to them. Same thing with the whitetail, with the sweet corn, the white oak acorn, the persimmon, the red apple. All of those are food grade. You start up spraying it up high, drop it down low, bring it out in front of where your kill shot is, and concentrate a spot on the ground, and that's where the deer go. They start up, they smell it coming downwind of you. It's a good cover scent. It's water-based, so you can spray it on your hunting clothes when you're in your tree. It's swirling, so when your scent is swirling, it will swirl that smell. As soon as they get that in their nose, it's all they can smell. It
overloads them.
It overwhelms their sense of smell, and that's the benefit to you, the hunter. So
that is awesome. That's just another thing coming here from Killer Food Plots. Well, Nick, I want to thank you for your time, and we're going to check back with you for some summertime tips as we go forward. But we just wanted to hit you up for the beginning of the year to see what we can do.
Well, also, you guys, check out our Coreinfusion high-protein bodybuilding feed as well. It's full vitamin, chelated mineral, all the natural ingredients, the core ingredients, C-O-R-E, infusion. And that's another one of our brand new products we just launched at ATA. We're excited. I've been using it at High Fence for years. I've been selling to my guys. I now found a source where I can produce it for $1 a pound retail. And you mix it with corn, mix it with soybeans at different years. At different times of the year to get your fat and your protein levels to where you need them. So check that out on the website as well. We're excited. We can't wait to get more of our customers benefiting from that.
Exactly. So that's right, folks. Check out Killer Food Plots, killerfoodplots.com, or simply just go to Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot, man.
So what do you do when you've completely redefined the way bows are engineered? When you've reached the pinnacle and the band starts playing your victory song, you start a revolution out of thin air. Introducing the all-new PSE Carbon Air, engineered with true carbon technology to be the lightest high-performance bow in the world. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
We know the future of hunting depends on our nation's youth. But did you know that in many states, it's illegal for you to take your son or daughter hunting until the age of 12 or even older? As a result, we have fewer young hunters, and the Families Afield program is designed to eliminate those barriers. Hunting is safe, and the safest hunters afield are young people with adult mentors. Visit our website at familiesafield.org to find out how you can bring more families afield.
Welcome back, everybody. Third segment of the show. Got done talking with Nick Percy.
Isn't it nice to use Mother Nature as your own personal
help to plant.
Seed sower.
Right on.
You know, and it's just one of those things. And you think about it, it makes perfect sense, right?
I think so. Use everything you can to your advantage.
Right, and some people, all you gotta do is go out there and spread the seed on top of the soil and let
nature take over.
Heat and cold contractions of the day, just let that seed work in.
Well, the thing with talking with Nick, actually, we're going to work on a couple things with Nick here this year, hopefully, and get things laid down on video. We're going to start shooting some video on some things we're doing on my personal food plot up north. So as that progresses throughout the year, we're going to be showing some different things.
Right, and so it's good to have killer food plots on board, as you see right there.
Absolutely, talking about timing.
Yeah, timing's everything. Yeah, it's always, we've been talking with Nick for a couple of years now, and things just stars and moons align for some reason.
That's right, and he's got a great product, and we're going to be using it this year. So stay tuned, and we're going to see how all that works out.
And you too might get like a hammerbuck.
That would be nice. I haven't seen a hammerbuck running around on my property. Speaking of Mark Hammer was at the show.
We did.
Antler Action. He's got a new product out this year.
He has got a new product out. And for those on the live stream, I can hold it right there.
So that is what he is touting as the world's smallest deer decoy.
Right, and proudly made in the United States, otherwise known as the Tattle Tail.
And we're going to demonstrate this here for you. Try to anyway. For those of you here on the live stream.
Yeah.
I don't have it all hooked up here per se, but...
there you go.
Okay, it's like this.
Yeah, you hang it up on the tree like that, right?
Hangs on the side of a tree, a limb, or deer decoy even on the back end. And there's a string hooked to it. And when you lift it up, for those of you on the string...
Yep.
You can see there.
You can use your grunt call, and then you can kind of just give it a little wag of the tail, so to speak. Kind of give a little action to the
it mimics
the sound.
It mimics a deer tail.
And you can the material in here is you can put scent on there if you want.
Yep.
You can make a grunt call. Whatever call you want to use, you can add scent to that. It gives a little just
a little visual flash.
Right, a little visual to the call, and so.
The biggest thing, you don't want to sit there and flap this thing and yank it up and down, because then it becomes an alarm flag.
Right, exactly.
But
you just want to give it a little...
In the general direction of where you're calling, and all of a sudden the deer's going to, the buck's hopefully going to, like, hey, what made that noise? Kind of start looking around, and if he sees a little tail flick in the air, he's like, oh, okay.
Hey, that's where that noise is coming from.
Yep, and then maybe smells a little doe estrus on the... If you put it on there. And
he's on his way over.
So, but
yeah, it was nice to see him again. He's got his Rattler action going. He's modified it yet again. He's brought it down to one pattern, nicely packaged. Talking to him, things are going really good. He was picked up by Kinsey's,
and we have a short video on the Antler Action this year from ATA, and we're going to be releasing it here soon. So stay tuned for that.
And for the weather people, it is 42 degrees now in Luzerne, Michigan.
Okay, Luzerne, that's up by me.
Yes, it is.
Very nice.
So, but it was good to see him again. Just an aisle or two over, we found one of our friends that we've now met 3 years in a row, Mr. Tom himself from Tom's Custom Turkey Calls. But
you want to change the name of his company now?
Yeah, well, I think he's going to have to, because he's actually now going into buck grunts,
deer
grunts. Right here, he makes the mouthpiece out of the different types of woods. I think you have a hickory.
Yep, mine's hickory.
Mine's orange sage.
Osage orange.
Say that again.
Osage orange.
There you go. Thank you. So he's expanded. So now he's into deer grunt tubes. And, of course, now we have got a couple for use for this fall.
Absolutely.
And can't wait to try these out. I love how deep this one goes. Mm-hmm. But
I was trying to change the reed in mine. I gotta get the reed out of mine. I got
way to
stuck.
Go. You guys stuck. But and you just take that, you go in there, you just kind of change that.
There's a little rubber O-ring on there. You can actually bring it up and make a doe bleed out of it.
Yep.
That's not the doe bleed.
No, that's not.
That's what mine's on right now. Is the so.
But yeah,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls is now making deer grunts.
Right.
And next year he was actually thinking about doing crow calls.
Yes, matter of fact, the whole conversation was a guy that makes turkey calls doesn't make a crow call.
Yep, somebody asked him about it,
Yeah.
so this is something he's going to be working on hopefully this year.
So he will be going back after the shows, he said, and coming up with a crow call and probably have those for next year.
There you go.
But it's good to see him again. His work is just
Phenomenal.
incredible. The different pieces of wood that he makes his calls out of just amazes me.
The pot calls and the box calls are really it's more like artwork than anything. I almost hate to take it in the woods. You know what I'm saying?
Really, exactly.
So,
but yeah, so it was.
Speak of the devil, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, let me slide over here. I think.
Uh-oh. You got one of them?
I think this is his call that I got right here laying up here. If I'm not mistaken.
I can tell by the...
Yep. Yeah, it is. So, the old pot call, my favorite. Won't be long, we'll be playing with those too.
Nope.
So.
No, it's about that time. I tell you what, this weather kind of makes you want to get out there and go do some scouting and stuff.
Did you yesterday see, when you were following me to the show, me pointing out the window feverishly at one point after we left the house?
No.
You didn't see me flapping my arm, like pointing real hard?
I think I might have, but I wasn't.
There was a field full of turkeys.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, there was a couple out there, a little bit bigger ones. I mean, they weren't out there strutting and doing their thing, but I'm like, yeah, I think that's a field full of turkeys.
I tell you what, after the warm week they're going to have, I'm pretty sure they're going to get rudely with a March storm here. But
man, I tell you what, we always see this. We get a quick warm up, then all of a sudden it locks back down, and this is really, really early. What's this going to do to nature? I mean, is it really just going to throw everything to a big tailspin?
Nah.
Remember the supermoon, how it threw in hunting season into a tailspin?
And we talked to the gentleman from QDMA.
Yeah.
And Dr. Kroll.
Yeah, they were up at the big club here in Michigan doing their deer necropsy. And
we talked about this. We've talked about this on the show, just you and I, about the supermoon and hunting.
Yeah.
And then we talked to Tony Smith of the QDMA about this, and Dr. Kroll. And you've been up at the necropsy up at Turtle Lake.
Mm-hmm.
And it was proven this year that the supermoon did have an effect.
They think it did. I mean, it coincided with the opener of deer season, and the breeding, what he called it, the mean date, the average date, the mean date that they had actually got pushed back 3 days.
Right, exactly. And they're thinking because of the supermoon, and I could totally agree with that. Mm-hmm. But
my question is, how does the supermoon affect breeding cycles?
Right.
I don't understand the science behind that, how the moon would do that. I've read a lot on both sides of the fence on this, of how the moon may or may not affect the rut or breeding cycles, this, that, and the other. I still not sold 100% on it one way or the other. So, for me, the jury's out.
It's one of those things that some people live and die by it. Mm-hmm. Some people could care less about it.
Yep.
That goes for sense. That goes for
spit it out.
I'm trying to. Oh, smoking. That's another one.
Yeah.
I
scent
smoke,
control.
scent
you know
control,
how I am about scent control.
I know, and then some people
They
throw
could
all
care less.
caution to the wind, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, talking to him was interesting about the supermoon, and it was just getting all that fun-filled fact information from people.
Well, in talking with him, we did talk with a guy. He was one of the local chapter guys working the booth.
Yep.
But he's also on one of the deer advisory boards here in the state of Michigan. I don't remember his exact title and what he did, but he's part of this group that helps to push regulation one way or the other. He doesn't make it, but he helps push it one way or the other and make recommendations to DNR. And it was really interesting listening to him talk about the core principles of QDMA and how it works to help with controlling certain diseases, even with CWD now here in Michigan, and with TB. And he talked about those dynamics and how that all worked. And for the life of me, I don't remember everything he said. And we got his card. We want to have him on the show, so
absolutely
he can help explain some of these things.
I mean, he was a wealth of knowledge.
Mm-hmm. But,
and I think he could explain it in the simplest terms that we can all understand.
Right.
Without going into the scientific mojo.
Right. Getting off way deep in the weeds.
Right, yeah. Exactly. It's good to have somebody that's able to do that and explain to everybody and get everybody level set as to why we want to go this way.
Yeah, it was
the scientific part of it. It looks like it's working.
I think so. And that's the thing is they've got the science behind it, the numbers to back what they're saying. But he says they still see resistance from people that still believe all it is trophy hunting, and not that the shooting bigger bucks is a byproduct of a healthy herd.
Right, exactly. And you know what? And that's talking to a QDMA gentleman. But then let's take it one step to a little bit to the left. When you talk to Nick Percy, and you talk about his the pellets he has to feed the deer, those
nutrition pellets.
Those are developed to help the nutrition of the deer. It's
Right.
not to grow big antlers.
Right.
He's putting this nutrition out there for the deer, so the does can produce 3 pounds of more milk. And it's just to help their bodies and the rumen inside the stomachs. And, we talked for him a little bit, and you heard on the interview. But, it's not about shooting big bucks.
No, it's about a healthy herd. Maintaining a healthy herd. Helping to help nature control these things without it being so violent.
Right.
Some of the things that we see in nature that when it does get skewed, and it gets ugly quick.
It does.
Where disease does crop in,
And he told us the story up at Turtle Lake. When the first time Dr. Kroll went in there and gave them his recommendations as to how many does they want to shoot to what they're actually shooting now, and how the mindset changed.
Yeah, and it is taking years.
Yep,
And it does. It takes time. Part of that problem is I hate to say it, but it's old school, new school. Old school mentality versus new school mentality. And at my age, I'm probably more of that old school mindset. I'm at the tail end of it, but it's taken me a while to open my mind,
right,
to listening and understanding and really digging into the science and understanding what it does and how these dynamics change the health of the herd. So,
but they have seen an increase in the APR section of Michigan up in that
northwest.
The mean age of the deer being taken are getting older.
Exactly.
So, and they're taking more does.
Mm-hmm. So it's all working.
It's working.
So I'll tell you what, though, we're bumping up here on our last break. Why don't we step outside? We come back, we'll kind of wrap up things here, talking about the show and a couple other little odd and ends and things that are going on. So we're going to step outside. We'll be right back after this.
I shoot PSE because I like one pin to 40 yards.
I shoot PSE for the perfect combination of feel and performance.
I shoot PSE because you can shoot lighter poundage and increase arrow speed.
I shoot PSE for the fastest bows on the planet. I shoot PSE because my livelihood depends on my bow.
I shoot PSE because better engineering makes a better bow.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE. I shoot PSE.
Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Throughout human history, one notorious killer has remained at the top and claimed more lives than any war or natural disaster combined. Mosquitoes. It's time to arm yourself and protect your family this season with Scent Blocker's new Bug Blocker for insects. Lasting up to 8 hours, Bug Blocker not only repels biting mosquitoes that can carry the West Nile virus, but other biting insects, including chiggers, biting flies, gnats, and ticks which can carry Lyme disease. Field tested by outfitters and guides from Alaska to Alabama and everywhere in between, the results are in, and Bug Blocker flat out works. In a high-potency sportsman strength dosage, using 25% no-nonsense DEET, plus 2 specific ingredients to target biting flies, Bug Blocker plays for keeps. For ultimate protection, pair Bug Blocker insects with Bug Blocker ticks.
Welcome back, everybody. Last segment of the show. We've been talking a little bit, kind of about everything.
Well, it's kind of...
it's one of them weekends.
I survived the week. That was the number one key thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, it was just a weekend of being in an outdoor show. And I still can't get over, hate to say it, but I don't know what PSC is going to do anymore at a 90% let off with a bow.
Yeah, it just the technology just keeps jumping. Every single year, it seems like something new comes out. So.
All right, so let's see.
Got a question?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Hear us loud and clear.
Good deal.
And Tom Covert, yes, you missed the first segment. So now you're in the last segment.
Sorry, Tom. We're
snooze, you lose.
For those on the podcast, we're taking a few questions and comments here off the live stream.
Right, exactly. But 90% let off with the Evolve and the new cam system on the Carbon Air. That bow, and I had several people shoot it, and they were just, it was, again, the wow factor.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think just getting people shooting that thing is the key to know. You can look at it, see it, but once you touch it, feel it, and shoot it,
then you understand it. Absolutely.
But no, it was a good weekend. I was surprised at the lack of deer that were entered in the back.
The show? Yeah. Speaking of deer, there wasn't a lot of deer entered for scoring and for the drawing and all that. And I don't really understand how all that works, but two of our Mossy Oak pro staffers that we staff with actually had deer that entered, and they won something. I don't understand how that all worked and didn't hear what they won, but they did win something. The deer that they did enter. But on the way home, since how we're talking about a little bit about the outdoors, a little bit about the show. On the way home from the show, I'm coming back, and about halfway back, and I already explained to you kind of where I was at. Driving along a freeway, and I kind of look over to my right, because this field always has deer in it, usually, especially in the fall. But lo and behold, there's deer out there in the field. It's 4, 5, 6 does. And then as I look, coming up to them is a buck. Yes, I said a buck. It was a buck. I could see antlers on it. It was a mainframe 6 at the edge of his ears, pretty tall. It wasn't an overly big deer. We didn't have a lot of mass to him, but, it was a good, healthy deer.
But you could tell it was a buck.
He still had antlers on.
I believe it.
The 19th of February, and he's still carrying his headgear.
I've seen deer in my backyard into March.
I've seen them south like that, but not this far north.
Yep, I will see it. It's been a few years, but there's usually, sometimes I'll catch a buck in March that'll still have his antlers.
Yeah, it's just, to me, it's getting a little late in the game.
I think what happens is eventually Mother Nature just says, excuse me, but those got to go.
They got to go.
Because we're going to start growing new ones, and I think they get pushed out eventually. But, it
just shocked me.
It is. Here it is. You've heard people in December saying, oh, deer are losing their racks, and all of a sudden you see one here in February.
Yeah.
End of February, and one has one.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, it just, but that's Mother Nature.
Got another question posted there.
Oh. Let's see. Predator hunt here next weekend. Coyote, fox, and bobcat makes the trifecta. Oh, so Jason's going to be doing a little predator hunting next week.
You know what? It's a great time of year to do that. I got 2 quick stories. Well, I got one quick story about that, and I got one story that we can probably finish out the show with. Quick story is, on the way to the show this morning, talking about the show again, but as I'm driving down the freeway, and I look to my north, on the side of the freeway, something caught my eye, and as I glance over, on the other side of the fence that's in the ditch,
right?
The boundary line from the freeway, there was like a really nasty tangled edge, really just scrub weeds and tangled just brush. And walking along the edge of that brush was a coyote. And he was hunting. He was looking in the brush. He wasn't paying attention to the road. And I did a double take, and turned real quick. I'm like, Mr. Coyote,
looking for
breakfast.
Looking for breakfast.
Yeah.
And Tom Covert, what do you fellas know about piebald deer? Saw my first one about a week ago. No rack. Well, you know what? It could piebald deer could either be bucks or does.
Got a doe. We got a piebald doe actually that runs our property.
You do, and it's called Socks.
Socks, yeah. It's a doe that we've been watching for 2 years now. We saw her as a fawn, and she's this year she's a 1.5 year old doe, and we've pretty much put a collar on her, an imaginary collar. It's like hands off, don't shoot.
Right. Yeah.
And we're letting her go because we want to see if she throws piebald fawns this coming year when she gets bred. This one, the one I'm talking about, she's got white legs up to her elbows. Okay, front and rear.
Looks like she's got white sanitary socks on.
Yep, and that's why we call her socks. And then on each side of her body, not just her belly hair white, but up on her side, predominantly up on her side, are 2 big circles on each side. So, and here behind my house, I've seen a buck, 7-8 years ago, and we call him Dirty White Boy because he was all white, but he looked like he rolled in the mud. It was a dirty white looking color.
Yeah, he wasn't a pure.
Yeah, and he was an 8-point, nice 8-point. We seen him around for 1 full year. Don't know if he ever was shot or nobody ever said that they did here in the area, but we did see him a lot. And I seen another one here in the area that was a doe. She was completely white except from her neck up. She was, it was like they took a head off of a regular doe and stuck it on this white doe.
Oh, okay.
But her neck and her head was, was brown. So
Jason also says, and this is kind of funny. The DNR says there's a bear boom going on up here. And you know what? We talked to the DNR. Matter of fact,
talked to him today.
Talked to him today about that. It's posted on the Michigan DNR website. You can go check out the recommendations that they have put in for the bear season upcoming. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what they've put in for a couple areas. Baldwin
and Red Oak.
And Red Oak.
They're increasing tags.
They've increased the tags because of that. The matter of fact, you're spot on, Jason, that's what they've asked for as an increase because of they checked into the incidents.
Yeah, well, and actually I heard that there was a 19% increase in the bear population, at least in the Red Oak district, which is where I hunt. And they said that there are more bear there now. For that reason alone, they're bringing more tags to that hunt. So I can't remember exactly what they had before. I think it was 600, and now they're going to 700. So I think don't quote me on that, but I think it's a 100 tag increase.
And all this is public information.
Yep.
It was kind of fun. She brought it up on her phone, and we went through the recommendations that they recommended. And they'll be online for a month. Then they go to recommendations, and then they're going to say, this is what we want.
Yep, they'll make their proposals.
They might make a couple tweaks in a month. But, yeah, it was a good question because we talked about that today. Hey, Charles, how you doing out there? Glad we're sounding good. So Jason says it's a 29% increase since 2012.
I believe that. We're seeing that around our area as well.
Yeah, Mike's seeing that up at his hunt club, too. That they're seeing.
Well, even around the surrounding area, just that whole general area up there is, we're hearing more and seeing more. I mean, I'm picking them up on trail cam,
right?
A lot more frequently than years past. The one thing that does concern me about the bear population up there, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but bear are natural predators to deer fawn.
They are one of the tops.
They
found that out in the Mississippi. The
study in the UP.
Study in the UP.
We've seen it firsthand at our camp. We've got a field in front of our camp, and we let it grow tall. That rye, we let that rye or wheat, whatever we got planted, we let it grow really tall. We don't mow it until late July, so the does can actually fawn in it. And we've seen bear repeatedly come through and start searching and running that high grass to try to find them.
Yep.
So
they're a very good predator of fawns.
And we actually caught them on trail cam as well. So,
and Tom wants to know how common are piebalds?
Percentage wise, I don't know. That's a good question.
It's not a big factor. It's a small factor that they even exist.
Yeah.
But it depends on what. To be a 100% albino is way more than being a piebald, and then it's even less. But what will happen is you'll get into a genetic traits within the family in that area. Yep. And you'll see it in a few deer in that area.
And that's why we let we let socks go. Nobody's going to shoot her, at least not in our camp. And we're going to see if she does happen to throw fawns this year that are piebald. It's kind of our own little experiment to see, what happens.
Right.
We haven't seen a buck that's piebald. But there is another doe. We think is the same age that runs in the same family group. And she has very similar characteristics on her legs.
Okay.
Not on her sides, but on her legs. They're not as high. The socks aren't as high on her, up to her elbow, like on socks. But so I think they're sisters.
Right.
Just don't know that.
A little bit difference.
Yeah.
They won't be the same.
Yep. So.
Okay, Jason, tell us, how many deer you seen this year? So we'll see what he says.
It's kind of fun taking questions here live over
You're
the
welcome,
internet while
Tom.
we're on the
Anytime.
show. So
and when you see him, try to get a picture of him. It's fun to get a picture of him and keep him around and see if you can find him the next year.
Yeah.
Or like Mike here thinks he's got sisters running along in the same area.
Well, last week I was at camp and I went up for the logging project and actually saw Socks. I got video of her. I've yet to post it online, but I actually got Socks.
Oh, okay.
Last
good.
weekend, she came right across the field in front of him. She kind of stopped and looked at us like, oh, okay. And then, boom, she took off.
How old do you think she is?
She's a year and a half old, though.
Year and a half?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I got video and photos of her as a fawn. Not this summer, but summer previous. So she's a year and a half old. That we do know. So it's kind of cool being able to distinguish one deer and kind of, start to follow that deer and see what happens, the different dynamics of what they go through and what happens and what they do. So very interesting. But,
and Jason saw one deer during deer season.
That's not good.
No.
In talking about being the last week at camp, we'll kind of wrap up the show with this. I got a quick story talking about predator hunting. I got up to camp Friday night. I woke up Saturday morning at 7:30, and I had the heater running in my room. And then I went back to sleep, woke up at 8:30, and then finally got out of bed at 9:30. And went over to our camp manager's house next door. And he said, Did you hear the coyote? And I'm like, no, I didn't hear no coyote. What time? He said, 8 o'clock. He goes, ran across the lake. He says, actually, it was probably right outside your window. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. So we get out, and there's snow on the ground. Not a lot, but there's snow on the ground. And we walked over, fresh tracks, right outside my window. It was a coyote. But the problem is, there's a feral cat in the area that he's been letting cruise around because it's keeping the chipmunks and the red squirrel and the mice away from our hunting camp, or our lodge, because we've had issues with that. So he's kind of patrolling the area. Well, this coyote and the cat tussled right outside my bedroom window. And we looked at the tracks, tried to figure all this whole situation out and see really what went down. You can see where the two tussled. And there's fur on the ground. It wasn't cat fur, though. It was coyote fur. I mean, it was very noticeable. There's a big difference between them. And I've seen enough coyote fur. I said, that's coyote fur. The cat's white, the fur's brown.
Right.
So that right there alone. But there's no blood. So we're like, okay, did he kill the cat, just break its neck and take it off and go eat it somewhere? Is that when he's seen it running across the lake, the frozen lake? So we started following the tracks, and it started to go up the road, up the 2-track, away from our camp, up to this ridge. And all of a sudden it stopped and turned to come back, and we look, and here come a pair of coyotes. 2 coyotes coming down the hill. So we figure he's going up the hill. These 2 are coming down, and he sees it, and he turns, tuck tail, and run. And that's when he ran off and went across the lake.
Right, exactly.
So
and you know what? It's funny. I seen the video because you did this all on video.
I've got video of this. I'm going to try to put a little clip together. But then the interesting thing was, and we don't know did he hear the coyote going after the cat, or did he hear what we found later? We went down and followed these tracks. They go onto the ice. We see a distinct set of tracks going across the ice. Then the set of 2 come down to the ice in a different spot. And all of a sudden, there's this huge spot where it looked like
they tussled.
WWF went on.
Yep, exactly.
There's no hole in the ice. There's no nothing, okay? And there's fur everywhere.
Yep.
Coyote fur. And he's like, man, they were fighting here. When we kind of thought about it, walked around, checked a couple things, I'm like, what time of year is it? It's middle of February. I don't think they were fighting.
The other F word, as he liked to say it.
That's what he said. I said, exactly. It's mating season.
Yep, exactly.
So,
and
it was pretty cool to be able to see where that happened at. Do we know that's what happened? No, but it was a pretty strong indication that's what it was.
Right. And that hit was last weekend.
Yep.
Did you find out if the cat...
He thinks he saw fresh cat tracks.
Okay.
Yeah.
The cat might have got scared the heebie-jeebies out of it.
Right. Well, the thing is he's been he puts a little cat food out just to kind of keep him around the area. Even though this thing's a mouser anyway, and he's cleaning the woods up,
Right.
But the recent problem is now he's got raccoons getting into the cat food. So
absolutely.
That's making a huge mess. So now he's having to get rid of that and just he thinks he's still there, but he hasn't seen him.
Okay.
So
good. He saw cat tracks. That's good.
Yeah.
But no. That's a cool story. And then I'm with the video, and you got shows. It happened right under your window.
Right outside my window.
How could you not hear that?
I'm talking literally 10, 15 feet outside my window.
I know.
At the most.
Exactly. And you slept right through it.
Well, I had the heater going on.
Right. That's right. And those heaters are pretty loud in there. So
you know.
And
I was contemplating taking my rifle up and getting up that morning to coyote hunt. Had I done what I wanted to do, I don't know. I may or may not see him. I might have spooked him off. I may have, went a different direction.
You actually might have went too far away.
Yeah. So
I'm thinking where you probably would have went. You probably would have came back and saw these tracks and said, well, why did I go anywhere?
Well, see, when I come into camp, I park on the far side of camp, in the drive.
Yes.
I don't park on that side for that reason alone. When I'm up there by myself, I keep things really quiet. When you keep the woods quiet, you don't go slamming doors, you don't honk horns, you don't go making noise. If you keep it quiet, like nothing's there, animals aren't alarmed. They don't, they act natural. They're not spooked off.
And truthfully, really, you can do that real easy at your place because if you stay on the one side,
it's secluded.
You never even have to go to the lakeside.
Exactly. They didn't know I was there.
Right. So, but that's it's an awesome story.
It was pretty cool, and I got video. Like I said, I got to throw it on a computer and kind of put it together because I shot 5 or 6, maybe 7 different video clips of what actually happened as we told the story and tried to figure this whole.
As you guys CSI'd it.
Yeah, we did. We kind of did it like a wood CSI.
You were.
It was like the murder scene. There was no cat, outline taped down or nothing like that. But no blood spatter.
No, there wasn't. That was kind of thing I was watching the video. It was like,
yeah.
But if they would have broke its neck, it would have. But
yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
I think he got scared off by the other two.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I think the cat made it safe somewhere, and then all of a sudden. He heard those other two, and they're like, what?
Yeah, he's like, whoop, it's time to leave.
Yeah, exactly. But, nope, you're right, Jason. The rabbits should be easy to see if their snow disappears. Yes, they will be.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, but, no, another interesting week here in Michigan.
Yeah, interesting weather, interesting critters are out. I've seen ducks and geese today.
Man, it was like a slaughter fest on the roads.
Oh, yeah. Coons and possums everywhere. I mean, you can tell. With this warm weather, things are waking up, and they're getting out, getting active.
Yeah.
And getting squished.
Yeah, it was this morning. There was a few fresh ones. It was like, whoa. That was bright red.
No kidding.
So, but I was surprised I didn't see any deer, actually.
I didn't either. You come to think of it, I didn't see any deer hit on the road.
All those fields.
Yeah.
Not...
Oh, you didn't see any deer in the fields?
In the fields or on the side of the road, for that matter.
Yeah. I seen deer twice. I seen deer yesterday, and I seen deer today.
Okay. So
not a lot, but I did see a few. So they're around. They're getting out and getting moseying around. Haven't seen my deer behind the house. Every morning I get up and look out. I haven't seen them in 2 or 3 days, and I really thought I'd see them out moving with this warm weather.
They might be moving different times now.
Could be. So, but that's kind of all that's going on.
It was an action-packed weekend, kind of.
I'd like to get up north next weekend, maybe. I know you and I've got plans on Friday, but I'm thinking maybe Saturday. I don't know. I need to run up. I got to get soil sample results.
Yeah, you got to get the results for Nick.
For Nick, so we can start putting a plan together. I've got a guy that I'm working with at our camp. We're gonna work together on getting the fields in, getting all that taken care of. He's excited about working with me, so hopefully that's all gonna come to fruition as well. So
and
a lot of good stuff. Good.
We get those. We're gonna have to get some cages made for you.
Yep, some growth cages.
Yep.
So we can monitor that as well. But
I'm looking forward to working with him.
I think it's going to be a good year. I really do.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to getting things rolling. So
absolutely.
But I tell you what. For us here on the podcast, I think we wrap up the show, and next week we'll come back. Hopefully, we'll have some more good stuff to talk about.
Yeah, and tune in next week, same time. Hopefully, a little less difficulties.
Hopefully, we'll have these issues.
I think we just might have figured something out here.
Well, I hope so. We'll see.
For now,
we'll see. But that'll do it for us this week. So make sure and tune in and follow us through the week and see what's going on. But we'll be back again next week. This episode was brought to you by PSC Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Scent Blocker,
Killer Food Plots,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Antler Action,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
and Badass Slingshots.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.